listen up, y'all. It's the queen of automation, Meghan, Donnelly, here to give you inspiration. Founders and business owners gather round. I'ma show you how to build systems that'll astound. Streamline your processes, no need for complication.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Chronically Automated, the show that talks all about smart systems for messy realities. I'm your host, Meghan Donnelly.
I'm your co-host, Anthony Labasco.
Yeah, man, that was a great start for us because we were laughing about something. Man, spam text messages, awful, right? We all hate them, I hope. Anyway.
I would love a spam text message saying that I would get $2 million, but anyway.
Yeah, I mean, it's a really, I wonder, do you think that those spam text messages that this is totally derailing our conversation, but I have to ask the question. Do you think those spam text messages that everybody's been getting lately in the past, pretty much since COVID hit, I wonder if they're automated. Anyway, I mean, I don't know.
That's a whole other episode in itself.
That's a whole another industry, the spam industry. We should do an episode on that and do some research on why. I mean, there's such an overabundance of spam. You would say it's got to be automated. Anyway, whatever. Today we're talking about automation shame. When you feel guilty for needing help, right? In our neurodiverse world, this happens a lot. And it's either, at least from what I've seen over the years, it's usually one side or the other. You're usually a perfectionist and you are striving for perfectionism. And when you don't get it, you freak out. Kind of internalized ableism. Is that even a word? We're going to make it a word. Like you're internalizing everything and you don't know what to do, so you don't take any action. So there's that side of it, right? But with automation shame and feeling guilty by cheating, I think is kind of where people end up. Like they feel guilty, like they're cheating by not doing things manually. First off, we're just going to start out and crush that right away. You are not cheating. Everybody is automation. Everybody's doing automation, using automation in some way, shape, or form this day and age. And if they're not, they should be. Because it helps you get time back, time recovered, healthy, being healthy, wellness. Like all of this stuff is important. Like if you're not taking care of yourself, and you're doing everything manually, that's a disaster waiting to happen for your health and burnout, right? So we're hoping today to talk about why you should reframe your kind of guilty conscious or your guilty mindset about over automation or using automation at all. First of all, 100% yes, there's always, you have the ability to over automate. You do. I would say...
Yep.
Yeah, but I would say, and I want to know your thoughts on this, Anthony, because so many people don't know what to automate when or where to start or how. I would say 98% of all the people that I talk to, they're nowhere close to over automating anything. And for any of you listening, I can almost guarantee you. I obviously can't guarantee anything, but I would say I'm 98% sure that if you look at your business and you look at what you're doing right now, that you are not over automating anything. Because
here's my 2 cents on that. I think people do not know what they don't know. And I'm speaking from a person that honestly didn't know what I didn't know. Then when I don't know, in my mind, I don't know if any listeners feel the same way, but when you feel like, okay, I need to automate, you almost feel like you're cheating or you're lazy or things. But really, what we're going to, I guess, discuss, because I don't want to go into everything right now, but there is such
please do go into it, because that's exactly what we're discussing.
Yeah, I mean, there is such a space for it. I could just say from my perspective, right? And, not only is there a space for it, but it is necessary to do. When you're neurodiverse, it is, first of all, you don't know when brain fog or, anything else is going to be hitting, in my case, pain or, whatever it is, right? And I'm not talking about like, doom and gloom every, something comes in, but something does come up. And then all of a sudden, when things are automated that you don't know can be automated, holy cow, things are actually going to continue moving. And that's just one example. So, it's a matter of, we'll go into all different types of use cases, I'm sure, but holy cow, you can just open your mind to it, people. Open your mind to it.
Yeah, it's completely, there's a voice that we as neurodiverse people, and maybe not everyone, again, all of us are different, right? But I always get this voice in my head, like when things go wrong, or when I feel like you get this kind of voice in your head that tells you real entrepreneurs don't need this much help. That is such bullshit. We all need help. Just because we, as neurodiverse people or business owners or entrepreneurs, we need help in different ways, it doesn't mean that the guy that's sitting over there who's not neurodiverse doesn't need help also. Like, everyone needs help at some point in their entrepreneur journey. Everyone. And so there's no shame in your game for asking. There's no shame for using tools and systems and processes and creating SOPs that you can hand off to other people for them to help you create content and doing all this. There's no reason for not asking. And I'm going to even go so far as I was of the mindset for so long about I always needed to at least try it myself first before I handed it off to somebody else. That's a load of crap. I'm just going to say it now. And the reason I'm going to say that is because you, as an entrepreneur, yes, you started a business, good for you. You're an entrepreneur, you're running your business. But you're not going to be good at everything. You're just not. It's physically impossible. Okay? Should you know how things work and are put together? Absolutely. But that does not mean that you should be the person building it. You should be the person doing it. You should be the person designing it or writing it or whatever the thing that you're really bad at. It's okay to have somebody else come in and do the things that you're bad at, because they're going to do it better, faster, stronger, and higher quality. Now,
sorry, go ahead.
No, please go.
One of your favorite books. I was just looking on my phone. I'm actually reading it right now or listening to it. Buy Back Your Time.
Yes.
And that is something, as I'm reading it, right? The whole premise is just based on founders, regardless of how successful they are, feel that they have to be involved in everything and doing everything. And really what it comes back to is you can then, pass on some of those tasks, especially the ones that you are not good at, that you just loathe and hate to do, because you are not going to love doing what you do. And you should be focusing on the high value tasks and everything you're doing. And one way to do that is through automation. Forget about, getting people, hiring people to, certainly do that. But, I'm sure that, Meghan, I can just tell you firsthand, you've automated me, in a sense that I'm able to scale and grow my business to a level that I can afford then to, hire people when that time comes. But automation is necessary.
It really is. It's 100% necessary. And, we're kind of beating a dead horse as we talk about this every week. And I hope that everyone's finding value, because we're trying to present it in different ways, right? And one of the things that I think, going back to your "you don't know what you don't know" statement. So it's funny because Anthony's a technical guy. He's been working in technology, in sales and other parts of technology for a long time. And it was so funny because, different parts of technology than myself, but it was so funny for him to be like, wow, I didn't know I could do this. Wow, I didn't know I could do that. Because he's super tech savvy. And right, it's one of those things where you kind of fall into the hole of thinking you know everything, or not even know everything, but you think, I've already figured that out. And it takes someone new and someone with a different perspective, and maybe someone who thinks a little differently, to come into your world and say, now I get that you've done it this way, but did you know you can get the same outcome if you do it like this? And it took me a really long time to get to that point and allow. Now one of my favorite things in the world is not being the smartest person in the room. I would much rather be in a room full of super crazy smart people that are like here to my here, and learn from them and listen to them. And I don't care what age you are. You could be 25, you could be 48, you could be 52, I don't care, because there's all levels of different degrees. Now, the young people of this world are probably, they're not necessarily as experienced, but they look at things with fresh eyes and they have creative ways of thinking. You know, the ones who are going to blow this world up with their amazing knowledge are the ones that look at the world and can think about it differently. Those are the people that I want helping me. Am I wrong?
I mean, exactly. And not only that, but they're using technology. And I think one of the things that we kind of have to talk about a little bit is what exactly automation is different for everyone, right? I mean, there are many different aspects of automation. And, you know, the reality is that those very smart people are using automation to scale, to take their ideas and maybe expand the ideas and, also execute their ideas and everything into a market that probably started very small, that can be much bigger. But it still has the fundamentals of being focused, being able to, obviously focus on your ICP and having the right content messaging and everything like that too. But there are so many elements of automation that, it comes in many different forms, everything from, just from a sales perspective. I mean, there's so many ways of your marketing automation, but then all of a sudden you have your ChatGPT. And you have the AI automation as well, that now you're able to take some frameworks and kind of use that to your advantage as well. And wow, I mean, for neurodiverse people.
Yeah, or for anybody who's figured out how to use GPT the right way or any AI tool the right way, they are going to level up faster than anyone else who's not.
100%.
And I admire the people that are out there that are still like holding strong. They don't want to use AI, and they talk about how they don't use AI in anything that they do, and more power to them. If that works for them, that's great. But I'm going to be over here with my small but mighty team, and I'm going to level up 10 times faster than you because I'm throwing double the manpower at it. Now, I'm not talking people who GPT is only as good as how you prompt it. It's only as good as the data you put in. But don't be afraid of it, people. It really is a tool that could change your life, especially when you mix it with a good CRM automation system. When you can figure out how to use GPT to help you automate the right things at the right time, it is magic fairy dust. I call DMC is like magic fairy dust. When you already have a strategy, right? Like you have a strategy and it is working. All the CRM and automation does is amplify that times 50. So if you're trying to amplify something that doesn't work, well, of course, the CRM's not going to work. Of course, the automation isn't going to work. No shit. It has to be working without the automation for the automate. The automation is not going to fix broken processes. It's not going to fix broken services or, whatever.
It takes something that sucks and make it suck even more,
now it's going to suck for a million people. Right, exactly.
But Meghan,
so
I think also that, when it comes to that, and I didn't mean to cut you off, but this means so much to me in terms of, I think ego comes into play in you know what I mean? Whether you're male, female, whomever you are, regardless, neurodiverse, not neurodiverse, there is that element of, I can do this myself. I don't need the help to do that. Or you have some I mean, as I say, like antiquated views on things, or you're not, I guess, embracing technology like it should. It's there for you. You know, it's funny because you and I have sat down so many times, well, virtually that is, or maybe we stand up, but regardless, we connect, and I'm talking about like, yeah, I'm doing this, I'm doing that with my sales and everything. And then all of a sudden you throw something out there and say, well, what if you did it this way? What if that workflow could work that way? Man, that'd be awesome. But I know that can't work. And then all of a sudden Megan's like, and there it is. And I'm like, what? So, you know,
That's the
there
favorite
are
part
a
of my
lot.
job, by the way. That's my favorite part of my job is when Anthony's head explodes.
Yeah, and it's really amazing. I mean, it's something that is just so exciting because all of a sudden it really opens up so many doors in terms of not only how you can do things on a day-to-day basis, but how you can grow your business, and really not even the selfish way of growing your business, but how you can help other people grow their business from the sales side, because my platform and what I have and the workflows and everything like that are truly amazing. And you just need to, know that and have someone like yourself to, kind of, whatever.
I
I don't
can
want to
tell
go off
you.
on, I don't want to
No,
go off.
it's good. Thank you. I appreciate that compliment because one of the things I was just recently talking to a client and a light bulb went off in my head because I realized I'm like, that's how I do it too. So I'm not afraid to ask for help. So that's not where my shame comes in. But and I think everyone does, like I hate the word imposter syndrome, but that's what's out there, right? Like that's the term. Everyone always has like a blueprint or a template or all this crap, like these niche words that people use, right? I don't do that. I've done this for 20 plus years. I just know what works and doesn't. So when Anthony or anybody comes to me with a problem or a question, I look at it and I kind of take a few minutes and then I'm like, okay, well, this is how this is going to work. This is why. Boom. This is how I've seen it done before. But I think we should change it here. And so I don't come with blueprints and templates in my back pocket. I'm not selling you a blueprint. Because I hate to tell you this, people, if and I apologize for all of the people out there who are listening who have wasted their money on blueprints and templates and all of these things that you buy and then you're trying to fit it into your business and then it doesn't work. Everybody's personality is different. Everybody's business is different. The blueprints are made for that person's personality. They built a blueprint around what worked for them in their business. Okay? The things that what I found and what kind of the reason that you shouldn't be afraid to ask for help is because if you're buying those things and then all of a sudden you crash and burn and it doesn't work for you, and then you're sitting there thinking, well, what the fuck did I do wrong? You didn't do anything wrong. You didn't do anything wrong. What you did, well, I guess you did do something wrong if you bought something that didn't work, but whatever. You didn't really do anything wrong, though, because they were a really freaking awesome marketer, and they sold you this thing. Marketer / salesperson. They sold you a promise that they didn't deliver on. And the reason they couldn't deliver on it is because not every single blueprint is going to work for every single business. Not every single template is going to work for every single business. It just, they don't work like that. Guidelines are okay, outlines are okay, but you have to modify those to fit your unique situation and your business goals and your life goals. And that is where the lack of experience for me is where I have a really hard time with the coaching world right now, and why there's so many bad coaches and people out there pitching all this shit advice because they don't have the experience. They haven't worked in multiple industries. If you can find someone, and it doesn't have to be me, maybe you hate my personality. That's awesome. I'm not for everybody. I'm a shiny, happy, little magical person with a lot of energy. I annoy the shit out of most people. Got it. Check it off the list. Move on. Like, that's fine. But find someone like me who has 20 plus years experience, take your little blueprint to them and say, okay, I really like this. This is what this person showed me and how they did it. How can I fit this into my business?
Well,
Guarantee they're going to give you something.
Right. I want to kind of take things a little bit, kind of, I guess, compliment you first that first of all, you are for me. Okay. And you are amazing. Okay. So let's just throw that out there. But I think, the point here is that what I've learned over the past 6 to 8 months, anything is possible. And we live in 2025 right now, that technology is here. There's a lot of technology that people are getting, that you're drowning in, right? I mean, I was drowning a lot in technology as well. But when you actually have someone to guide you through, and Megan and I have had conversations where, oh my God, Megan, I have this crazy idea. What if I can send some messages within Sales Navigator and then take that message and then put it into workflow and then somehow, I don't know, like really add a custom, GPT that's going to add and kind of put things in my sales strategy and implement it. I'm like, that's crazy. I know I'm kind of nuts. And Megan's like, no, that's totally possible to do. And when you actually have someone there that's an expert, that's a pro, that's done that. And as much as Megan says she does not have a framework or anything like that, her framework is being able to really take that, understand it, and then implement
Figure it out.
Yeah, and
So
figure it out.
I'll tell
And
you,
what it is.
I'm
Yeah.
not a huge. Do you know who Marie Forleo is? I have this
don't.
kind of I have this kind of love-hate relationship with her content. She's an amazing public speaker, first of all. Love her speaking. Some of her other stuff is, whatever, I can give or take. But the one thing that she says that fits me perfectly, and I love it, and I wish that I had trademarked it before she did. Everything is figure outable. Because my entire career has been built on not coming to you with here's the blueprint. You tell me the problem, I figure it out. And everything is possible, okay? Especially when it comes to technology. It takes time and it takes money sometimes, but you can still do it. Excuse me. So when you're doing things in the digital world, in the technology world, it's all possible. It's all possible. Now,
It is.
sometimes I'm going to tell you, okay, well, that's going to cost you $1 million. But it's possible. Everything is possible. It's all possible. The possibilities are endless. You just have to decide, are you going to throw lots of time at it? Like time and quality? Or money and quality? So there's time, speed, and quality. Those are the three things in technology. When you start a tech project or you're starting to work in like the digital experience world, pick two, because you can't have all three. You just can't. It's nearly impossible. I mean, there have been times where people have said they've been able to do all three, and I don't necessarily believe them. Because some things just take a really long time, and if you want it to be really cheap, it's going to cost you 5 years. If you want it to be done in 30 to 60 days, it's going to cost you more money. I mean, that's just the way the tech world is.
Right. But even getting up to bat like that, I think that's really the premise of this conversation, is that, shaming yourself because you are looking at automation is really what it comes down to. And Megan, honestly, a lot of people do have that. They do have that misconception that, oh my goodness, how can I automate this? How can I do that? It's going to cost me $1 million on the day-to-day basis.
Or it's going to not sound like me. It's going to sound fake, and it's going to sound not real. It doesn't have to. Yeah.
There are different aspects, and you have to make sure it works for you. And yeah, obviously, if you have an AI voice, that might be, taking everything. I'm not saying every AI voice sounds like an AI person, but that being said, I'm just giving that example that maybe that's not for you. Yeah. Maybe something that's a little bit more, okay, well, you know what? Maybe I'll have an auto dialer or, something along those lines that might be better. Whatever it is, the reality is that you have to be able to put your ego aside, put your misconceptions aside, and say, you know what? I need this to be done. And how can I do it? And make sure that you have the right partner and the right people that you can, number one, trust. And number two, know what they're doing, because there are a lot of people that are out there, like, Meghan was saying, I mean, on the coaching
Oh,
side,
yeah.
even on the technology side, I can tell you right now, talk about imposter syndromes. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't think they have imposter syndrome, but they are imposters, so you just have to make sure that you are, there is that element. I mean, I can go into so much detail about anxiety, neurodiverse, when you have anxiety and you feel, oh, let me make a decision because I need to have this done. No, you know what? Do it the right way and try and take a step back, because there is a solution out there that is the right solution. I can tell you that firsthand.
I completely agree. Let's TLDR this, because I think we've talked about so many things, but really at the end of the day, like you said, we want people to walk away from this conversation that we're having and not feel shame, not feel guilty about asking for help, not feel shame or guilt for using tools or systems or technology to help them, right? So here's a few things that will give you a quick kind of dopamine hit that will help with this. Track your time recovered. And what I mean by that is when you start doing automation, and we're going to start doing this with Anthony so that he can really see the success and the outcome, but you're basically wanting to reframe your success, reframe, and you're using automation analytics to understand how much time you're saving yourself. Holy shit, I just saved myself an extra 15 hours a week. Doesn't seem like a lot. At the end of that week, it will seem like you've got millions of hours back. 10 or 15 hours is a lot of time, right? I know it doesn't feel like a lot when you say it out loud, but I promise you, when you start noticing 10 or 15 hours every week consistently, you're going to be like, I just took a 2-hour lunch and nothing broke.
Yeah.
Whoa. Right?
Exactly.
Like you start to notice these things. The other one is I'm serious, like you start to notice it, and it's funny because you're like, whoa. And now obviously on the flip side of that, you have to like, oops, like I missed a meeting because I was lunching, and like, don't do that. I mean, of course it happens, but try to work around that stuff. Once you're tracking your time recovered, you will be amazed at how less guilty you feel, because everything's still getting done. It's still getting done the right way and accurately, and your customers are still happy. And now you're extra happy because you have this extra time back. The second thing is to rebuild all of your SOPs, your standard operating procedures. If you don't know what that is, we will do an entire episode on that, because if you are neurodiverse and you are trying to run a business and you don't have SOPs,
we should definitely do that.
You need SOPs. You need them. And we'll talk about that in another episode. But rebuild your SOPs to require automation. This should not be an afterthought. This should be a strategic move. Every single SOP should require automation, making support the default and not a crutch, right? There should be that requirement built in 100% across the board. If you're thinking of automation after, you're too late. If you already created the SOP and you're trying to go back in after the fact and add automation, you're too late. You might as well just trash that and start over. Create a new SOP from scratch. Okay? Create automation to automate your SOPs. That's what I did. Anyway, we'll talk about that too. We can talk about that in another episode. Yeah. I mean, because I don't do anything just haphazardly. Like, there's always some sort of weird cookie plan going on up here in this brain. The last one, and I think we talked about this last time. We've talked about this a few times, but I am leaning into this more in the last couple of years. Celebration triggers. Okay. Yes. Actual automations that reinforce your progress and they showcase the good, not the guilt, and setting up gamifying shit that works. I know it sounds weird and it's cheesy and it's totally crazy, but I'm telling you, if you are gamifying even just creating a dashboard that goes back to that tracking the time recovered. But if you're gamifying like how this shit is actually working, your dopamine is going to go through the roof, because it's going to show you and your team and whoever you're working with all of the good stuff. That doesn't mean that I'm not telling you to ignore the red flags or the bad stuff. Obviously, you cannot. Don't do that. But the more you start focusing on the good outcomes and the good of that's coming out of everything that you're doing and less on the bad, you're going to start experiencing less bad things. That was super fluffy and mindset crap for me. Anthony knows I'm not this fluffy person, but it is 100% true. If you continue to focus on the broken shit and the stuff that doesn't work and the stuff that pisses you off, and you continue to live in that world, you will never, it'll be a cycle and you'll never get out of it, and you'll get stuck in this like ceiling where you're just always pissed off and angry. Why would you want to live there? Don't live there anymore.
I think my therapist and other therapists need to maybe they can be a referral partner for you.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Talk to a therapist. Use GPT as your therapy partner. I mean, Nat does it. We make fun of him, but it's great. He talks to GPT. I do it sometimes. I'll like talk to my phone. I'll like wander around, like talk to it. I don't necessarily like the advice it gives me, but try it. Why not?
We'll never tell you.
Yeah. Anyway, the point is the point of this whole conversation, and I hope it was helpful, because we've all been there. Anthony was there. He didn't know what he didn't know. And he's like, and then at first, like I've heard him say it before, and he's not anymore. Like, I'm ashamed to admit I didn't know how to do this. This was so easy. Like, I didn't, you know what? You're not meant to know everything. That's okay. But you know what you should do is just be a continuous, lifelong learner, always learning. Find people to learn from and stick with those people, right? All right, everybody. That is a wrap. If you're chronically automated or not, you should listen to us because we're amazing humans. I'm just kidding. I mean, I'm not kidding. We are amazing humans. And that's a wrap for this week, and we will see you next week. Bye, everybody.